Hello, good morning. This is Zachary. Today we're going to talk about two things in particular. One is going to be a tRun job and the other one is a parallelized job. And we'll go from there. Let's go up into our CSV file. We're going to create a standard job. No, we won't do that. We'll do it a different way. We'll go to create folder and we're going to call it parallel jobs, and tRun. How about that? We'll call it parallel and tRun jobs. Okay, so over here it's pretty straightforward. We're going to go to that folder and I'm going to name my job that. Actually, I'm going to keep it as the minor. We've already gone over the majors and the minors on how to change the versions. We'll click finish. And so the first thing we're going to do is just go through what a tRun job is. So over here in your repository and your job design, each one of these jobs can be considered a sub-job, and it's considered a sub-job if it's embedded inside of a main job, or it can be embedded inside of another sub-job as well. But what we're going to do here is look at a basic case of a sub-job which is utilized by something called the tRun job component. So the tRun job component, what it basically does is encapsulates or uses a job. So here we typed in and generated the tRun job component. Here it has a job name, the latest. We're not going to use a context yet, and we can transmit a whole context. So this job here, the parallel and tRun job, is considered a parent or father job. This tRun job is considered the child job. So in this case, let's just take this one, CSV. We click on here, we go to our standard job, CSV jobs, and we're going to get that one for just display on console. Okay? So we can run this job. And as you can see, the results are displayed. So this great big old job right here, the parallel and tRun jobs, that is your parent job. And inside of your parent job, you can embed other jobs. And as always, you can look at the component here. If we want to transmit or carry data over from the father job or the main job to the sub jobs, we can do that. Okay, but for the moment I'm going to show you another way to bring over a sub job. Okay, but let's just do this for the moment. We're just going to say display to console. That's what we're going to call it for the moment, display to console. Okay, and we'll give that the name here, and we can also call it subjob 1. Okay, another way to bring over or to create a tRun job or embed a subjob or job into the parent is simply to just capture it and bring it over. And notice it has the same properties. We're bringing over this job. It's the latest version, default context. And again, we're not passing any variables yet because we can create a context variables here and pass them over, but we're not doing that yet. Okay. And we can bring another job over, and now what you see here are actually 3 tRunJobs. We can give this a name. Let's go back and give that a name. We'll just call it JSON creation. Okay. And here that was one of the jobs we did, and it's just simply CSV file output. Okay. Now, here are 3 tRunJobs embedded inside of the parent job. Now we can run all 3 of these jobs synchronously, meaning this job runs first, this job runs second, this job runs third. That is the default for Talon. Or we can run all 3 jobs in parallel, all simultaneously by using what's called the tParallelize component. If we right click on this, we see two points. We can run a job in parallel here. Sorry. We can run this job in parallel. And then after these 2 jobs run, we can say run the 3rd job. Because there are times when you want to run a job, create some files, and then in the end you want to use that file, say, to add the data to the database, or you want to use those files that you create to add data to the database. So you have some jobs that you can run in parallel that are just simply independent of each other. So like I said, you can have a JSON file that gets read to just as an example, a JSON file that gets read to one database, the staging database. Then you can have a CSV file that gets read to the staging database. Then you can have an XML file that gets ran to the staging database. And then after all the data is inside the staging database, whether it's a fact table or a dim table, you can then come back and say, okay, these 2 jobs or 3 jobs, sub-jobs, were successful. Now let's push the data over to the fact that a dim table is using the 3rd job. But we're not demonstrating that here. We are demonstrating a synchronized. It says wait for all. So once we have the jobs connected, we just simply run the jobs. Job complete. And then you can see over here, all the jobs have been copied over. We have our JSON job, we have our CSV job, okay? And we have it displayed here. And so what happens here is we can just run the job because they can be in parallel, right? And if we look here, we're going to run these 3 jobs. You'll see that I only have 2 files in here, the schema and the data file that we actually have, okay? But once I run this job, I'm going to have 3 outputs, one to the console, one as a JSON file, and then one as a CSV file. Okay, just click run. Job, JSON job complete, right? And then you have your JSON, you have your CSV file that was done, and then right here you have your console, JSON, and CSV files. Okay, in the next lecture, we'll talk about passing parameters from the parent job to the sub job or to the tRun job. Thank you.